Kilotan. A Raven Darkblade mystery. Chapter 3. Coffee and Currents. The landlocked cafe lived up to its name. Not a nautical theme in sight, which in Crimson City was like finding a unicorn that paid its taxes on time. Raven arrived 5 minutes early, currently 5 feet 11 inches with first coffee date nerves, wearing his second best shirt, the one with only 2 stains, both strategically hidden by his jacket. Summer was already there, sitting by a window that overlooked a parking lot instead of the ocean. She'd traded yesterday's sundress for jeans and a t-shirt that said, "Marine biologist, do it in depth," which was either very clever or very forward. "Hi," she said, smiling as he sat down. "I ordered you a coffee. Black, 2 sugars. I guessed based on your detective vibe." "That's exactly right," Raven said, impressed. It was actually completely wrong. He took his coffee with enough cream to technically qualify as milk soup, but he wasn't about to correct someone who'd bought him caffeine. He took a sip and tried not to make a face. "Too strong?" Summer asked, noticing his expression. "No, it's perfect. Just like detective coffee. Very black. And coffee-ish." He took another painful sip to prove his point and immediately regretted it. "So," Summer said, pulling out a small notebook covered in whale stickers. "About Richard Washman." "Straight to business. I like it." Raven pulled out his own notepad, which was a napkin from the yacht club. "What did you want to tell me?" "When I met with him yesterday, he was nervous, kept checking his phone, looking at the door. I thought he was just a creepy older guy, expecting me to flirt for better property prices." She made a face. "But then he said something weird." "Weird how?" Raven leaned forward, trying to look detective-y. "He got a text and went pale, like ghost pale. Then he laughed and said, 'Looks like I'll be swimming with the fishes after all. At least it's better than concrete shoes.' I thought he was making a mob joke." "Maybe he was," Raven suggested. "He owed money to someone called the Tide Turner." Summer's coffee paused halfway to her lips. "The Tide Turner? That's not a person." "It's not. It's a tidal phenomenon, when the current shifts direction. Happens twice a day here." She set down her cup thinking, but why would someone use that as a name? "Because they turn tides," Raven guessed. "Like, professionally? Is that a job? Tide turning?" Summer smiled. "No, tides turn themselves. It's physics." "Right. Physics. I knew that." Raven did not know that. Raven's phone rang. Jenny's voice exploded through the speaker before he could even say hello. "Darkblade, we have another body. Same beach. Same tuxedo situation. Get here now." "Another body?" Raven's height shot to 6 feet 2 inches with adrenaline. "I'm on my way." "I'm coming too," Summer said, already grabbing her jacket. "It's a crime scene. And I'm a marine biologist who can tell you about tides and currents. Plus, I'm already involved as a witness. Plus, I drove and you took the bus." She had a point. 3 points, actually. The beach was having déjà vu, complete with police tape and gawkers. The new body had washed up about 50 yards from yesterday's location, wearing an identical tuxedo-and-flippers ensemble. "Meet Harold Houseman," Jenny announced as they arrived. "Real estate rival of Washman. Also specialized in waterfront property. Also dead." "Houseman and Washman?" Raven said. "Were they partners in a naming scheme?" "Competitors, actually. Bitter rivals. Fought over every beachfront listing." Jenny showed them the body. "Same deal. Tuxedo, flippers, waterlogged. But this time there's a twist." "He's holding something," Summer observed, her scientific instincts kicking in. "May I?" Jenny nodded, and Summer carefully extracted a waterproof case from the corpse's grip. Inside was a photo of Washman and Houseman together, smiling, with a third person whose face had been circled in red marker. "They knew each other socially?" Raven asked. "Look at the background," Summer said. "That's the Marina Club. Based on the decorations, this was their annual Seize the Day fundraiser. I was there last month for the university." "You were?" Raven's height fluctuated with interest. "Networking," she explained. "The marine department needs donors. Rich people with boats love to feel environmental. I probably have the same photo somewhere. They had a photographer doing rounds." Jenny studied the circled face. "Can't make out who this is. Water damage." "The killer's next victim?" Raven suggested. "Or the killer themselves? Or someone who knows why two real estate agents are being dressed like aquatic penguins and thrown in the ocean," Jenny added. Summer walked to the water's edge, studying the waves with professional interest. "The current's different today, stronger. This body came from further out." "How can you tell?" Raven asked, joining her. "See how the seaweed is wrapped? Counterclockwise. That only happens when—" She paused, calculations running behind her eyes. "He went in about 3 miles offshore. Deep water." 3 miles? Raven repeated. "That's like 12 swimming pools." "It's about 15,840 feet, Summer corrected gently. "Right, that's what I meant. 12 really long swimming pools." "So someone took him out on a boat," Jenny concluded, ignoring Raven's math. "A boat that left from—" Summer pointed north. "Probably the private marina, based on the current patterns and time of death." "How do you know all this?" Jenny asked, a hint of suspicion creeping into her voice. "PhD in oceanography," Summer said simply. "I literally study water movement for a living. Last week I tracked a rubber duck from Japan. This is just a larger, deader rubber duck." "Rubber ducks can travel from Japan?" Raven asked, amazed. "Do they have little passports?" Both women stared at him. "That's not how ocean currents work," Summer said finally. "Right, I knew that. Ocean passports. That would be silly." Another piece of evidence washed up. A tie clip with the initials TT. "The tide turner," Raven said immediately. "Or Timothy Thompson, or Tina Torres, or literally anyone with those initials," Jenny pointed out. "Let's not jump to conclusions." But Raven was already jumping, his height reaching an enthusiastic 6 feet 3 inches. TT, tiny tuxedos. That's why they're dressed up. The killer makes tiny tuxedos. "They're wearing full-size tuxedos," Jenny said patiently. "Oh, right. Then?" terrible swimmer. TT is someone who can't swim, so they're jealous of people with beach houses. That's definitely a theory, Jenny said, in the voice she used when Raven was having one of his moments. A theory that exists. Or tidal? Timer? Raven continued, losing steam. Someone who times tides? Like a marine biologist? Summer suggested helpfully. Do those exist? Raven asked. Summer stared at him. I'm literally a marine biologist. We've discussed this multiple times. Right. Yes, you study Marines and their biology. Summer's phone buzzed. She glanced at it and frowned. I have to go. The lab needs me to check on some samples. Samples of what? Raven asked. Algae. Very exciting stuff. Did you know some algae can predict tidal changes up to... Sorry, you don't care about algae. She smiled apologetically. Call me later. Let me know what you find out. Of course, Raven said. Good luck with your algae. Tell them I said hi. I'll do that, Summer said, clearly charmed by his weirdness. After she left, Jenny shook her head. You tell algae hi? It seems rude not to, Raven explained. They searched the beach for more evidence, finding only tourist trash, and one confused hermit crab wearing what appeared to be a tiny tuxedo. Another victim, Raven gasped, pointing at the crab. The killer's escalating to crustaceans. That's a piece of a Barbie doll outfit, Jenny explained patiently. The crab is using it as a shell. Oh. Raven's height dropped to 5 feet 7 inches with embarrassment. So probably not related to the murders? Definitely not related. Unless the killer is leaving clues through crab fashion? No, Raven. Right. That would be weird. We need to find out who TT is, Jenny decided, and why they're turning real estate agents into fish food. And why tuxedos, Raven added. Seems formal for murder. Everything about this is theatrical. Like someone's putting on a show. Raven thought about Summer's whale notebook, her easy calculation of currents, the way she'd known exactly when high tide was last night. All perfectly explained by her job, all completely innocent. We should check. Raven paused, trying to think of something detective-y to suggest. The place where the thing was. What thing? Jenny asked. The photo thing at the place. His mind was blank. The Marina Club? Jenny suggested. Where the fundraiser photo was taken. Yes. That. We should check that. Raven agreed enthusiastically. I was definitely about to say that. I'll handle it, Jenny said, clearly not trusting him with actual investigating. What will you do? Research, Raven lied. He was actually going to text Summer and see if she wanted to have dinner somewhere aggressively landlocked. Maybe a mountain top. Or a desert. Somewhere bodies couldn't wash up and ruin the mood. As they left the beach, Raven tripped over something in the sand. He picked it up, a graduation tassel from somewhere. He couldn't read the writing because it was sandy. Trash, he muttered, shoving it in his pocket because there weren't any garbage cans nearby, and littering was wrong. Later, sitting in his car, actually the bus, but he liked to call it his car, The tassel fell out of his pocket. He noticed it said, Crimson City University, Marine Biology Department, Class of 2019. Huh? He said to no one. Summer has one of these in her car. Popular graduation gift, probably. Like those fuzzy dice, but educational. He put it back in his pocket, planning to throw it away later, but knowing he'd forget and find it in 6 months when he finally washed these pants. His height remained at a steady 5 feet 10 inches because he wasn't having any thoughts deep enough to cause fluctuation. To be continued academically. Author's note. This chapter is dedicated to marine biologists everywhere who use their powers for good, not for elaborately staged tuxedo murders. Also to algae, which apparently can predict tides, but chooses not to share this information with the rest of us. Any resemblance to actual graduation tassels found at crime scenes is purely coincidental and should be reported to your local detective, competent or otherwise.